Thanks for tuning in to Bourbon Drop. I'm your host Myron. Today we are shooting the runner-up video. I mean, by no means is this thing really a runner-up. Let's get it. Bottom drop, bottom drop, bottom drop. Now this is Blue Note Uncut. This thing right here comes in at 123.1 proof. Every Blue Note Uncut supposedly up to this day survived the storm of June 2019. So I've got a storm survivor, and that's a very familiar story if you know another distillery, hint hint. This right here is not their only product. Blue Note also makes a rye. They make a Riverset rye. So I'd love to get my hands on that one. They also have a Blue Note 10-year single barrel. Now, the 17-year-old, I'll probably never ever see it. But that 10-year-old, I might be able to get my hands on it. Now, there were only a few barrels of those that were made, so yeah, I'm not saying there's a good chance, but if Blue Note, if you want to reach out to me, I'm here, man. Look, listen to me. When I tell you this thing right here has been chased by me for quite some time, it has. Ever since I heard about it on the internet. Blue Note Uncut, Blue Note Uncut. If you get your hands on it, get one. I've been chasing this thing since I got this bottle, because after I got the regular bottle of Blue Note, I had to get my hands on the Uncut. I was so impressed by what is considered a minimum, well, what is, I won't say considered, but what is a minimally aged bourbon. The bourbon in this barrel is a minimum of 3 years old. Same here, same mash bill. You've got 70% corn, you've got 21% rye, and you've got 9% malted barley. Let's get into the nose. Sweet apples. I mean, really sweet, like sweet red apples. Nothing else. There's a slight hint of ethanol, just slightly. But that apple is pretty much the dominant note. Just a light oak, a very light oak. A hint of spice. And maybe some fruits, and that's pretty much it. Let's get into the palate. Wow, that's good. That's really good. I am getting a lot of citrus, a lot of honey. I am getting some dark fruits. There's almost this, and it's, don't take it in a bad way, but there's almost this sawdust in the back of the palate that transfers into like a milk chocolate. Let's go back into the nose and palate one more time. It's almost got a savoriness to it too. There's a light caramel, like a thin caramel, a bit of a salty note, like a salted caramel, but that's pretty much it. I mean, it is just, it's packed full of flavors, it's packed full of proof. 120. I'm gonna wind up cutting it. I'm gonna wind up cutting it.
Oh, cut it off then, Myron. I thought you could edit. That's why I did.
I am. I'm gonna edit that part out. It's packed full of flavors. It's packed full of proof. I mean, when you talk about salted caramel and you talk about savoriness, I mean, it's not super complex like it's taking you on a roller coaster ride, but it just has some really good flavors. I mean, those fruits and caramels and that savoriness, they just all come together to create this beautiful bourbon. And like I said again, it is only a minimum of 3 years old. Now, how they get those flavors out of 3 years in a barrel, that just that puzzles me. I just really don't know how they do it. But this is some very good stuff. Let's get into the breakdown. Is Blue Note Uncut worth the chase? Yes, I think it is worth the chase. 3 years old to get this out of that barrel, That's ridiculous. That is insane to me. I mean, the flavors are there. Like I said, it is not super complex, but it is nowhere near a one-note monster. This thing right here is good. Is it worth over retail? I am going to say yes. If you do not have this in your market and you want to give it a shot, I would go as high as my 30 over retail. I believe I spent 70 or 80 on Sealbox. I'd have to look at the receipt again, but I would go as high as my 30 over retail to get my hands on one. Now that I've even had one, I would still go over retail. Would I go as high as my 30? That's a little questionable, but I still would like to get a bottle on the bar if I hadn't had one. So next question, and you know the answer to this already because we do this every time. Would I give it to a new bourbon drinker? The answer is no. At 123.1 proof, it is going to tear a new bourbon drinker's face up. These notes are very rich, very strong. The mouthfeel was quite decent, but I do think it has too much of an alcohol punch for a new bourbon drinker. Will it always be on the bar? As long as I can find one. Like I said, these are not in my market. I was able to order one from Sealbox. This is a Sealbox pick, so I got lucky. If I happen to be traveling and I see one, I am going to snatch one up. If they come to my market, I am going to snatch one up. But this bottle right here, as long as I don't go through it, it will always be on the bar. With that being said, let the whiskey flow. Never run out unless you're headed to a drop. Till next time.